You ever stop and think about how quickly things can go wrong in international politics? It's pretty wild. Sometimes all it takes is one little social media post to spark a massive crisis. And today, we're diving into a perfect example of that, how a single tweet managed to push two powerful nations right to the edge.
So it all kicked off with this tweet. It's been deleted since, but wow. It was sent by Pakistan's defense minister, Khwaja Asif. And the language is, just incredibly intense. He's calling Israel evil and a curse, directly accusing them of killing innocent people. Now, this wasn't just some random guy's opinion. This was a top official in the Pakistani government. And the fallout? It was immediate.
That one tweet instantly set off a really severe and very public crisis. We're not talking about some quiet disagreement behind closed doors. This was a full-blown firestorm playing out for the entire world to see. And you can bet Israel's response was fast and, well, unmistakable. They were not about to let a statement like that just slide, especially given everything that was going on behind the scenes. This slide really lays out how the relationship just fractured in public. On one side, you have Pakistan doubling down, calling Israel a cancerous state and accusing them of genocide. And on the other, Israel fires back, calling it outrageous and saying it will not be tolerated. But, and this is important, notice that specific phrase they used, a supposed neutral arbitrator. That phrase right there, that's the real key to understanding the much, much bigger story that was unfolding. So that's the big question, right? Why did this tweet at this exact moment cause such an incredible explosion? Well, it turns out the timing was absolutely everything. And here's the answer. At the exact moment that tweet went live, a super fragile, high-stakes ceasefire was completely falling apart. And Pakistan wasn't just watching from the sidelines, they were supposed to be the ones brokering the peace. Yeah, Pakistan had actually put itself forward as the neutral party here, the crucial deal maker trying to bring about peace. They were the ones who had somehow managed to get everyone to the negotiating table for these incredibly sensitive talks. Okay, so let's walk through how this all went so wrong. Step 1, Pakistan brokers a deal. Great. Step 2, they apparently tell Iran that Lebanon is covered by this ceasefire. But then step 3, Israel says, whoa, hold on, Lebanon was never part of this deal, and then they launch one of their fiercest attacks. The end result? Step 4, the truce is shattered, and suddenly all eyes are in Pakistan, blaming them for this catastrophic miscommunication. And the cost of that failure was just devastating. In that Israeli attack on Lebanon that happened right after the ceasefire collapsed, more than 250 people were killed. A lot of them were children. This diplomatic disaster had a very real, very tragic human price. You know, this whole incident did way more than just wreck a ceasefire. It completely exposed this deep conflict right at the heart of Pakistan's foreign policy, a diplomatic catch-22 that they are constantly struggling with. And it's a classic catch-22, right? The kind of situation where you're trapped between these contradictory pressures, and it's almost impossible to make a move without angering a powerful ally or stirring up even more trouble in the region. You're stuck. This table kind of shows the tightrope they have to walk. Look, on one hand, they really depend on financial aid and defense partnerships with Western allies like the US and Saudi Arabia. But on the other hand, there's this huge pressure from regional powers like Iran and from hardliners back home to show solidarity with Lebanon and Gaza. So they need the West's money, but they're also being pushed to oppose the West's allies. It's a mess. And this whole episode didn't just hurt relationships in the moment. It seriously increased the risk of a future conflict. These two nations, even though they don't share a border, are now on a potential collision course. So the long-term damage is pretty significant. We're seeing this diplomatic polarization where other countries feel like they have to pick a side. There's a much higher risk of escalation, and there's the very real possibility of future strikes. Israel has long-range capabilities. They don't need to share a border to act. And as we've seen in other places, Iran is an absolute expert at using proxy forces to stir up trouble in a region. Now, to be clear, a full-scale direct war is probably not on the table right now. Pakistan is still an ally of the US, and again, they're not neighbors. But has the groundwork been laid for some kind of smaller, more targeted conflict in the next few years? Absolutely. The trust is gone, and the bad blood is now officially on the record. And all of this leaves us with one last kind of chilling thought. This entire crisis just spiraled out of control because of one single tweet. It really makes you wonder, in this hyper-connected world we all live in, how close is any nation